Hey guys, I'm David with Transparency Fitness Live, and today we're with Bekah Robinson.
What's up?
And well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself.
You get to talk about yourself for like the next hour and a half. So
weird. I'm excited though. About myself. Well, the thing I like to tell people first is I'm a boxer, because they look at me and they're like, "Your face is too pretty to be a boxer." I've gotten that a few times. So that always gets a good initial response from people.
What
They're
I'm
always
hearing
surprised.
is that means good defense, right?
Yes, 100%. Hit and don't get hit.
It's all about keeping the face, the beauty.
I gotta make money with this later somehow. Yeah. So I'm 25 years old. 2 little kiddos. A mom, wife. Fitness instructor for the longest time, and just started boxing a few years ago. I've been around boxing a lot longer than that, but really been on it for about 1.5 2 years. And I just decided to start fighting this year, and I've got 4 fights in the past 3 months. I think I got it down. So gonna try to finish off the year with 10 fights is the goal.
Wow. When's the next fight?
August 15th is going to be my next fight. It's going to be in Bowling Green. I'm still waiting for my opponent to finalize everything. Her coach said it was a go, but I'm still waiting for them to contact the person in charge to get it official.
Right.
I hope she's not ducking me, because I'm ready to go.
Does that happen a lot in the boxing world, where like I guess you've gone past the initial setup of like, is there a contract? Is there, or how does that work for amateur?
There's no contract for amateur. And in USA Boxing, it's pretty much like, your coach, my coach contacts the promoter to get an event. You put your name in a hat. They look at the matches, how many matches you've had, the weight class, and then they match you up. No contracts now, because we're not fighting for money or anything like that.
Also, I watched a couple of your fights. Is it, and maybe it's a thing in the state of Kentucky, you guys had headgear on?
Yeah, amateur, not necessarily outlaw, but USA Boxing and Olympic style boxing headgear. And depending on your weight class will be the size gloves you wear. Mine's 10-ounce gloves.
So there's different styles of boxing? So like
the Olympic style and professional style are a lot different. Olympic goes based on points. So each round you're trying to outpoint. Obviously you can still work for knockouts, but it's a lot shorter amount of rounds and a shorter time. For the men, at least, we do 2-minute rounds. Okay. In amateurs, and that's it.
And so is that what you're doing right now, is Olympic style?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And then when you go pro, longer rounds, go for the knockouts, no headgear.
Actually, for women, it's still the 2-minute rounds, but you'll go more rounds.
You'll go more rounds.
No headgear. Mm-hmm. And I think smaller gloves as well.
So I know you didn't get into boxing when you were 25. I know you didn't get into boxing until 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. It wasn't even a thing that you even thought about in high school, is what you told me.
I had never even been in a fight. I'd never punched somebody. I'd never punched somebody before I even started. So it was interesting. I kind of always felt like if I had to get an altercation or something happened, because it's good to think about those things sometimes.
I think
just so you're prepared.
Especially in today's world.
Yeah. So I was like, if someone tried to fight me, I feel like I could defend myself,
But you don't know, because you never really put that to the test.
No. Until I got into it. And then I was like, oh, okay. I'm pretty good at this.
So what got you into boxing? I know that you had mentioned that your mom was really anti-boxing, due to some experiences she had when she was a kid. But
until recently, actually, until I told her. I knew she wouldn't be a fan of it. I was like, me getting hit in the face.
Most parents,
not something your mom wants, for you or sees for you.
They don't want their boys boxing probably, and let alone their girls.
Exactly. So she was very much, I don't know if I like it. When she was younger, my mom's a little bit older. She's born in the 50s. When she was younger, her dad took her to a boxing match. And at that time, it was illegal, actually. It was kind of an underground, betting, not necessarily a good environment or legal environment in any way. So her dad took her to one of these events, and she was just traumatized, was sitting really close to the event, was getting blood all over her, and she was really young age. So I think that was a huge turn off for her. She's like, I don't like boxing. I don't want to be around it. So I was like, hey mom, I'm boxing. And she's like, I don't know.
Things have changed a little bit since then, though.
Things have changed. And she came to watch me spar. I was like, Mom, just come watch me box, see what it's about, feel the environment out. And, she watched a few rounds and she's like, oh, okay, well, you're pretty good at this. Like, it didn't look like you're just, getting beat up like maybe she had imagined.
Well, there's referees, there's rules. We got the headgear on, and, no blood going on to her during the sparring. Like, all the things that she didn't have when she was younger.
Exactly right.
So what actually got you into boxing? You got into about 21.
Yep,
you said.
Yep. So I met my husband BJ, and the time we met, he wasn't actively boxing. I knew he had done that in the past. His dad was a professional boxer, and we started getting together. And the more we hung out, he kind of got back into jiu-jitsu, and then that turned into boxing. And I was at the gym every day just watching, like sitting on the sidelines, the only girl in the gym, just kind of watching. And then I started watching, the guys. I get more comfortable with everybody, and I'm like, man, I could do what that guy's doing but better. Like, I could do this stuff. Like, and one day I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. Like, teach me some moves. So when I start, I'm not terrible.
Were you guys married at the time, or
we were
just
not?
You guys
we were
just
not. We were just together dating, and then once we got married, we were in Ohio at the time we were married. We moved up here to Lexington for Everybody Fights.
Hold on one second. So you're dating BJ.
Yeah.
What made you interested? Was it kind of just seeing him, because I mean he's a pro fighter, seeing him box, and then you're just like, I think I can do this, and then asked. I'm guessing you told him you wanted to do it, and he kind of was like, all right, I support you. Let's do this.
Yeah. So it was funny because I think from start to finish, he'd support me no matter what. But at first, he actually was kind of like, you don't want to do this. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, this is not a fun sport. Like, it's not an easy sport. Like, it's going to break your heart. Like, you're going to hate it at times. Like, do you really want this? And like, at first that was a little confusing for me, I think. But I now realize that he was 100% right.
Right.
Like, this is a sport that's not just, I'm going to pick up and box and like,
so you've really got to commit.
It's going to be fun or easy. Like, this is like life or death. This is like serious commitment. This is like train every day. This is there are more days you're going to hate it than you love it. But you get to this point to where it's like, it's your life. It's what you do. So.
But how great is it after you win a fight? Like what was that feeling like?
You know what? It was interesting. It wasn't like, it was validation maybe in a little bit.
Okay.
It was, I just worked my butt off. I deserve that. I got it.
Right.
Like, it wasn't to me necessarily a surprise, but like,
was all that work, I guess, like, did you get that feeling like, wow, all this work I put in, it was so...
It wasn't for me because that's not my end game. Like, that one fight, it was just a check mark. Like, all right, on to the next one. Like, once I make it, then I'm sure that feeling will come. But now it's like, okay.
I still haven't put enough work in. I'm still not where I need to be.
This is not the end goal. Don't get too excited. Like,
it's just
it was
another
your
hurdle.
First one. Yeah, another hurdle. Yes, exactly. In this marathon.
So I'm guessing, did BJ start training you, or like, how did you guys go about like starting that whole process of becoming one dangerous ass motherfucker?
So really what started boxing for me was, we came to Lexington from Ohio. It was 2018, I believe. Everybody Fights. Have you heard of Everybody Fights?
It was a local gym, right?
It was a local gym.
There's
a guy, it's no longer a thing.
Matt Weigel. Matt Weigel,
head trainer there.
I've heard up and down things about this guy. It's like it depends who you're talking to.
Exactly. So we came up for Everybody Fights, and it was all boxing focused. We actually were brought here because we were the only ones at the time employed who was like boxers and kind of knew what was going with that, versus like the fitness. It was more of a boxing fitness type gym. So we came up here and started that. And every time you take your picture, you're making
you're not supposed to, like, in the middle of the podcast talk about, I've got to get my social media pictures. So like, you just have to keep talking, and I'm going to get my pictures over here.
Like, I can talk, but once you pull out a camera, I get a little shy. But we came up for Everybody Fights, and that's really where I got to start learning boxing, which was cool because their program, they put you through this fight school to learn to even become an instructor for them. This franchise was started by George Foreman the third, which George Foreman's son, and a few others. And their program to even start training was great. And it took you through like boxing, learn boxing, teach these
so like the
beginning
techniques,
boxing
the
techniques.
basic
okay. Your stance, how to throw each punch. Like, so when I was working there, that's really where I got into like, oh, this is like how you box, like doing the punches correctly and having a good stance and building a good base.
So going through this was the beginning of...
This was the beginning, and we got to do it together, which is cool because most people don't work with their spouses.
BJ already had, like, he already had quite a bit of experience.
Fighting, and I had been watching his fights. He had a couple of fights when we were dating, so I went and watched his fights and, was in the crowd and did that whole thing. But yeah, during that Everybody Fights is when I really got to grow in boxing.
So doing that, do you think that like reinforced your decision to like become a boxer?
I think so.
Or was that more of like, I'm just going to try this out and see what it's like? Or like when you went into it, were you already kind of committed to boxing, or were you kind of like, this is what kind of...
It was pretty much what kind of swayed me and kept me there. Since I started doing it every single day, it became kind of second nature. And I was like, yeah, okay, I can roll with this. Well, I can get down with this.
You're letting all the rage and anger out if you had me. Like every day you're just like, I'm calm as shit all the time now because I just beat the crap out of a bag or somebody. So.
Yeah, I was like, why are you so like happy? Why are you so like, oh, little do you know, I beat people up twice a week.
Yeah, right.
I get it all out. Don't worry.
So did you spend a lot of time, I guess, going through that system? Like when did you start, I guess, sparring? Like actually starting to like, hit other people, right? Because I'm sure you start out just getting technique down and getting to a point where like you could hit other people. Or do you do that early on in training?
It really just depends on the person.
Okay.
Some people you meet, they've had a tougher life, right? They're tough. They're ready to just be thrown into sparring. Like, let me just spar and see what it's like, and I'll pick up where I need to learn after that. Some people a little more reserved. They like to feel more comfortable in their skills before they step into sparring.
That would be me.
Yeah. Like, tell me what to do. Let me get good at that, and then I'll try it. And me, it was a little bit of both. I like to make sure I perform at my best for everything, right. Any event, that's part of being an athlete my whole life. So I wanted to learn a little bit before, but honestly, I just kind of jumped right in. The guys I jumped in with for my first time, I remember I think they were pros already or about to be pros, high level amateurs. This was back in Ohio. They let me come in and beat them up, and they were so great. They gave me a little punches, let me feel what it was like, but they mostly let me beat on them, which was kind of cool for your first experience. So yeah, I guess mine was a little bit of both, kind of jump in, kind of just go right for it in the sparring aspect.
Okay. So okay.
Yeah.
So, you start to get more serious with it, and then you end up with a kid. Right? So you got
just
pregnant.
Started sparring, was rocking at Everybody Fights.
And getting to a point where you might start looking at...
Yeah, I'm like, I feel really comfortable with this. Like, I feel like I'm
ready for a fight.
To maybe take a fight. Yeah. Then little Ocean comes along. So... that was a big break. 9 months of...
They have something against fighting pregnant?
Yeah, I guess...
That's a no-go?
I don't think it's a good idea. Don't recommend that. Yeah, so that put me on a big break, which I understand another reason why people don't do this sport, because one of the hardest things is like coming back. I think the hardest thing with sports in general, if you've played a sport, I know you know this, coming back is the hard... Getting injured, being out... Having to be on medical leave and then coming back to something is so hard. Because
you get to like a certain level and then
mentally you're like, I was just there. Like I was lifting this weight, or I was, doing this many rounds in sparring, and then
months upon months, if not a year, to get back to like where you were at.
You can't last the way you did, and you got to regrow, and that's...
The good thing is you can speed that process up because you know how you got there the first time, but you still have to get back there.
You know what to do, but you still got to put in the time. Yeah. And, so she came along, I put the time back in, got back where I was, and guess what? Echo.
It's all BJ's
Another
fault.
baby. Damn it, BJ. You wasted my time. No. I wouldn't change it at all.
Your kids are great. They really are.
They drive me crazy. I love them.
They're going to be some, if they box.
Oh my gosh, they're badass. They're so badass. You are. They are gonna watch out,
like
world.
Echo, I feel bad for anybody that's gonna deal with Echo.
She's already sparring kids. Like she's already beating kids up. She's the bully and she's not even 2 yet. Oh no. We'll work on her, I guess. But I wouldn't change it. And you know what's crazy is I noticed this, especially after Ocean. I got stronger after giving birth.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think it was
my body like just came back stronger? I could lift heavier weight. I don't know if it was like a maturing thing. Like my body did a lot of maturing during that time. But way stronger.
Do you think there was some mental toughness that came? Because I mean, I'm a guy, so I don't know what it's like, the pain that you go through having a kid, right?
Right.
And you're such a small frame.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
fortunately, my babies were tiny. Ocean was like 4 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
She was nothing. Echo was like 6 pounds. I mean, a little bit bigger, but still. No,
so small. Like in my head, I just feel like you've already been through some of the most excruciating pain of your life, and like things that you dealt with just being pregnant.
Yeah.
It maybe makes certain boxing things like, oh, that's not that bad.
Like, that's nothing.
That's like
nothing can compare.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that maybe helps in that aspect.
100%. Your mindset and everything you do, but particularly boxing, is everything. Regulating yourself, regulating your emotions, regulating, the way you respond to your pain. Like all of that's super important. I think makes boxing one of the toughest sports.
So now we're going back to like finally you got the second kid.
Yeah.
And you're finally able to start getting back to where you're at.
So I mean, Echo is going to be 2 in October. So.
And you just started fighting. What was your first fight this year?
March.
Okay.
I think it was March, end of February, March.
So we're like 4 years into this journey.
Yeah.
Finally get our first fight.
Don't remind me. I'm still young.
Oh, of course. So when is boxing maturity for women?
You know what? That's a good question. Let's just say for both, my opinion, I'm going to say like between 30 and 35 is probably going to be like peak prime. Like
you're so far away from that though.
I know.
You got so much time to dominate.
It makes me so excited. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm really, really focused on staying present 100%. Like obviously make those 5-10 year goals, but don't dwell on that too much. Take every day, take every opportunity, enjoy making a name for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So that's where I'm at with everything.
So where you at with, you got a fight coming up? You got what?
Yeah. October 15th.
Four more fights this year?
That's the goal. That's the goal. I have put my name in several hats. On this side of the country, it's very hard for females to find fights unless you're somewhere like New York or you're going down to maybe Florida, Texas, like bigger places. You're going to have more opportunity. But living in this area where I live, I'm an amateur. I don't get paid. So all of this is out of pocket. So it's a very expensive thing to do right now. So I'm going to hope to bang out 4 more fights. My USA boxing license runs out, I think, the end of the year. So I think after that, I might start taking some outlaw fights. I think I'm going to get more experience. I'm going to get more fights. Why
would you not renew the license? Or can you renew the license?
So here's the thing. USA boxing is, the way to get to the Olympics, right? You have to go through USA boxing. I don't know if you heard, I think I might have mentioned it to you. They're going to take boxing out of the Olympics starting the following year. So 2024 is going to be the last Olympics with boxing. I think there's one other sport that they were wanting to take out as well.
Weren't you trying to make the team?
Yes. I wanted to make the team. However, I think I got too late of a start. You have to win nationals, win qualifiers to get you to the trials. And I haven't got the opportunity to do that yet. Mostly due to financial and just being like last minute type things.
Now, is there a fee associated with the license?
With the USA Boxing, you pay your membership at the beginning of the year, and that gives you access to events and being able to do different tournaments and that sort of stuff.
So are these events like across the country where it would just be financially like crippling to like, all right, to take that chance?
Exactly. Pretty much. You got to have someone paying for it, sponsors backing, if you really want to get that push. And I think it's not something that's impossible for me to do. I did apply for the wild card for the next tournament that's coming up. So if I get chosen for that, I'll get to go fight and put a name out there. But if there's no boxing after 2024 and I can't make it 2024, I don't want to spend too much time on an amateur style, Olympic style boxing.
How much would that help elevate your career though if you could make the team and let's just say you walked away, you made the podium, right?
Right, made the podium.
How big of a deal would that be for your career though?
It would make a professional career easy because I would start off with recognition. I would start off with a name, I would start off with bigger fights.
Where you'd have to grind a little bit more to get to that same elevated position.
If I just went professionally, yes, exactly.
But financially, it could be cheaper grinding.
Exactly. Yeah, I could start getting paid,
and that'd give you more experience.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be to have a medal? Like if you had a medal.
I want Olympic ring tattoo. I don't have any tattoos, so I was like, my first tattoo, if I get to Olympics, is going to be the rings. But
so when is this wild card if you do get picked, and where is it at?
That's a good question. I don't have all the details. I just got the application the other day via email. So I literally just filled it out yesterday.
Oh, wow. So this is like a last ditch effort. Like if I can get in here.
If I can get in here, I will show out. I will get my name out there. But
so is that kind of like if you make this and you do well in this, then you might
I can get a shot at the trials.
Then you might make a push.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't, then it's kind of like they're gonna let this license lapse and we're gonna try a different route.
Yeah, go the next route. Yeah.
And you said outlaw. What is outlaw? What is outlaw boxing?
It sounds. You're like, what? That's just what they call it. So, USA boxing is like. I don't really know how to explain it.
Well, do your
highest
best.
Standard, right, of boxing amateur wise. Very regulated. So you can either go through that as an amateur or you can do what they call outlaw. That's when you do fights sanctioned through state by state. Each state's boxing commission sanctions bouts.
So they're legitimate fights.
They're legitimate fights, yeah. For example, Rough and Rowdy, it's semi-pro, but it's pretty much the same style that you would do. Like I have a good connect in West Virginia. So like, that's probably where I would be doing most of my fighting would be through the West Virginia Boxing Commission over there.
Okay.
And so basically what happens in that setting is a coach or a manager or promoter will put on an event and he'll line up his fighters that way.
Okay. Yeah. And I know that like West Virginia's commission is more lax and like they allow like you don't have to wear headgear.
No, yeah, you don't have to wear headgear in amateurs. I believe you do have to wear 16-ounce gloves because of that though, so you don't have to worry about.
So do women wear the same size gloves as men?
It depends, professional or amateur.
Okay.
Amateur, and then it also depends if you're doing USA boxing or you're doing like more of an outlaw type style fight.
So it could vary depending on.
Yeah, it could vary.
So at the pro level, what are women?
8-ounce.
Oh wow!
Think of this: MMA gloves are 4-ounce.
Holy, okay, wow!
It's
So if you've been boxing with 16-ounce, all of a sudden,
boom! It's totally different. So it's really cool in USA boxing right now. I get to wear 10-ounce. Which the lightest gloves that I do any like pad work or training in is 12-ounce. So even that difference is, it's fun. Your hands move way faster.
Do a lot of boxers train that way though? They'll train with heavier gloves so that it translates?
Heavier gloves always for sparring just to protect each other. So you don't get cuts. You don't want to have, any type of like scar tissue that's going to affect you long term.
Like we said, we got to keep that face looking beautiful, right? Yeah, we got to keep
the face pretty. Yeah, but let's see, back to the gloves. 10 ounces is for my weight class. So it's a big difference. Sparring is always going to be the 16. I like to do for like bag work about 14 to 16. I still keep it big. But my pad work and especially like right up before a fight, I'll drop down to the 12 just so I can get used to the timing. 'Cause it really is a different timing when you're using like these big, thick, heavy gloves versus like...
Can't move as fast, right?
Oh, no. Yeah, you don't move as fast. And you're going to fatigue a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I remember my first fight when I put on the 10-ounce gloves for the first time. I was just like, what?
Let's go.
We're going to fight in these? Okay. Definitely felt punches a little bit more in 10-ounce gloves. That's
true. Yeah, because you can put more power behind them.
Oh, yeah. They pop.
Well, the nice thing is though, you get to wear headgear. Like I've never boxed or sparred without headgear. So
there's some like controversy around headgear. Really, headgear protects you from cuts. That's so you're not going to get lacerations or anything like that. It's not going to help with any, it's not going to help with any head trauma. I mean, it's a little bit of padding. You're getting hit, in the head. It's only going to absorb a little bit. It's
not as much as one would think.
And if you don't watch who you're with, they're like, oh, you're wearing headgear, I'm going to hit you harder. Like, it doesn't really do too much to protect from any damage other than like superficial.
I'm not trying to get my brain scrambled.
Sorry. Yeah, stay hydrated and do lots of slip bag, get your head movement good.
So what is your like what does your training look like, I guess, over this 4-year period, right? So I'm sure it has matured and it's changed.
Oh yeah.
Especially in between these kids. Because I'm guessing even when you had kids and you got to the point where you couldn't practice as much, I'm sure you took the time to like, I guess do research or teach yourself other things that need to be done. Cause I'm sure some of it's got to be like watching other boxers fight and like
getting the fight IQ up.
Yeah,
putting
exactly.
in your film time, all of that. So training right now, I typically depends on when my fights are. I like to get an 8-week camp. 8-week is ideal. I prefer personally 6. Coaches would say 8. 8 weeks gets a little boring. You're doing the same thing.
What's a camp? I don't know.
So a fight camp for me is going to be, let's say 6 weeks. I'm about 5 weeks out right now. So you're pretty much doing 5 to 6 workouts a week. Some of those days are going to be 2-a-days, making sure you get your 2 rest days, of course, but 2 days of sparring. On sparring days, I try to get like 10 rounds in. So 20 rounds of sparring a week. Lots of heavy bag. I should do more road work, but
what's road work?
Just running. Running, just putting miles in. It hurts my body a little bit, so I do slack on that. I try to make up for it in jump rope. Lots of jump rope.
What does it hurt? Like your knees or?
My knees, my lower back gets really tight easily, and I think it's because I know the problem. I just don't put in the time to fix it like I probably should. I feel like when I run, I keep my core too loose, so then my back pays the price for it. I have the same thing when I run. My back gets tight. Yeah.
And but when I do certain things that I train that I've seen, like videos I found on Instagram and stuff that have helped, I'm gonna send you some stuff.
Send me some stuff.
I'm gonna send you some stuff, but I'm gonna expect you to do it because I think I think 2 things happen.
Yeah.
Our lower backs they just get really tight because one, we're probably not properly training them to get enough strength, like to build up some of that muscle.
Right. We're
not stretching the right way. And then depending on where our core is, right? So if our back muscles are constantly jumping in to assist the core, and our core just isn't like, you can have a strong core, but if you don't have if it's not strong, like balanced, so like then like you said, your core gets loose, your back's like, okay, I'm going to take all this. And then you're like, my lower back is killing me. Right.
And I can be good when I first start running. It's like when I get to the point of being bored with running, that's when I'm like, oh, my core relaxes and my back's like, ugh.
Then that's where you got to keep that intensity. I mean, and how much running should you be doing as like, what would you say is the ideal honestly, amount?
I don't know. Some people say you should do road work all the time, run miles every day, 3 miles every day. I don't know. Some people are like, I don't do any road work and I'm just fine with doing something besides road work. So I can't answer that.
Well, I think the other thing,
have a good balance. Recovery runs, how you're running is also important. Now I do sprints. I'll sprint. I'm okay with that, but running hills.
So I also think that you should do more road work then, and you should put yourself in a position where you do get bored, because what it's going to do is going to help build your mental toughness.
Yep.
It's going to make you're going to get like, oh man, this is boring. But then you're just going to like, you know what? I need to do this. I love doing this. Change your language, right? Yep. Change your mindset.
Yeah.
And just commit to it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that could translate into the ring when you're tired or you're upset with the way you're maybe moving in a fight or something like that. And you're just like, and you're already trained your brain. Nope, sorry. Like, I'm not tired. Gonna get through this. Like, I am a huge proponent of mental toughness. And I do these classes at the gym, and that's one of the things that I really try to hammer into the people that come to my classes. And it takes them a while, because they're just struggling so hard to get through the workout. But then when they learn that they can tell their body what to do, they can change the way that they look at the workout. All of a sudden, those workouts get easier, and they're getting more conditioned. And so I think that I think you should go run more, and I think you should. Long as we're not injuring you, right?
Yes, that's
right.
That's the key. Long as
the lower back isn't getting too tight, is getting to that boredom part, and then figuring out a way to get to the point where you're just, even if you're bored, you're not bored, right? You're going to mentally work through it.
Yeah,
and it's going to make you a stronger athlete.
It 100% will. I know it will. Right.
So I know what Brennan told me. He runs like 40 miles a week.
Brennan's a freak.
Well, he was a track star, right?
He was.
Yeah. So
I was also a track star, believe it or not, but I told my coach I would not run farther than
you had to.
Then 200 meters is all you're getting from me. I was a sprinter because I didn't like running.
Okay.
I was like, I'll run fast and be done.
I have bad knees, so I just now started running again for the first time in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And
do you run in the grass?
No, what we've been doing is at the gym, the little white truck up the road, that's like 0.2 miles there and back.
Okay.
And then it's 0.4 to the stop sign and back, right?
That's perfect.
For me, I can't run. I have not tried to push past like a half a mile at a time.
Right.
And so we'll do like 6 to 10 sprints where you're supposed to sprint, but I mean, you're in the middle of these workouts. You just go as fast as you can. You push as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Because you don't do them all at once. So I may do 3 other exercises and then go do the sprint or run and then come back and do more exercises. And then, so that's really helped. I haven't had knee pain from running for the first time in
that's awesome.
I couldn't tell you how long. And I think it's because I'll jump into trying to be too physically active too fast.
Yeah.
And then my knees get overloaded and they're like, what are you doing to me? So this time I've gradually got back into it, doing these smaller runs. And then actually I need to do more road work. I need to probably try to start pushing to a mile a day or a mile every other day.
Yeah.
And continue to let my knees get used to not being in pain, hopefully. And then get to a point where I can get to 3 or 5 miles. Cause I have the same problem. I get bored as shit. You can only listen to your
ADHD in me is
you can only listen to the music you love and for so long before you're just like, okay, this isn't even doing it.
I'm hungry. I should just go get food.
I used to, when I ran, I got up to running 8 to 12 miles when I got out of the military. And what I actually did to help get through that is I would put movies on. I wouldn't watch them. I'd have I'd listen to movies, funny movies that I really enjoyed, that I knew it was in my head. I knew what that scene is. I knew what was happening.
You could just play it.
Yeah. I would get so caught up, laughing or laughing in my head, because you really can't laugh while you're running because you're screwing yourself over. But it would be comedies, things that were very positive, and I did that, or I would put podcast on,
right?
And I would try to find a podcast where I could get lost in the podcast, and it was just kind of it probably wasn't good at sometimes because I probably was not paying attention to my surroundings at all, because it's almost I need to just shut everything out so that I can get through this run.
That's the other thing. Location where you run is everything. If you can find a place where you can just headphones in, not have to worry about your surroundings.
Well, I think you could go down to UK. They have that track down on campus that I think anybody can walk over and just run.
Is that the Arboretum?
Yeah, it's right next to the Arboretum. You could run the Arboretum, but they actually have a physical. You know where the blue courts are?
Yes.
So back behind it to the right. So if you go down the road past the blue courts, where if you go past the blue courts going towards Tate's Creek Road,
okay,
that stoplight is right after the blue courts.
Yes.
Take a left there, follow that road till you see a big track on your right.
Okay.
And I don't know where you would park, but I believe that track is open unless they're doing some kind of event.
Okay.
And that's
cool.
And you could go run there.
Yeah.
And that way you could kind of shut everything out.
Yeah.
And even if you're not really paying attention, you just hope that the other people around you are, or they're going to get run over. Too bad.
Sorry.
You've got things to do and people to see.
Love it.
So yeah, that's true too. I mean, so maybe finding a better environment or something that's more conducive to your schedule,
Right.
Because I know where you live and there's really nothing.
I know. I like to
You could run in the neighborhood, though. I mean, the sidewalks, depending on what time of the day.
Depending on what time of the day, yeah.
So
definitely.
But these days, I don't know, as a female, if you...
I know, it's so
even if you are a boxer, it's scary out there.
I fear more being a boxer because I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, yeah, hurting somebody?
Don't mess with me. I don't want to hurt you.
I think in most cases, if a guy tried to abduct you and you beat his ass, you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine.
I will drive him.
People are going to sympathize with you, okay? And they're going to make fun of him.
Yeah, probably. So wear that black eye for a minute.
So what do you do diet-wise? I mean, food, I guess, energy, like getting the right foods into your body has got to be so important.
So important.
And I would guess you do higher carb?
It really depends on weight class. Unfortunately, I haven't even got to fight within my own weight class yet, which my home weight class is probably like amateur 119, pros like 118. So I've been fighting up this whole time. So my first fight was at 130, and my last few fights have been 125.
So what is that range for your weight class? Like, is there a range like between this and this is specifically this?
If we're talking amateurs, you go from 119 to 125 to 132, I think is the weight classes for women that I would be fighting.
So it'd be 119 to 125 or 125 to 132?
Yeah, see, it really depends. If you're talking national tournaments, they're very strict on weight. You got to weigh on the weight class. If you weigh over, you're out.
You can always go up. You just can't go down. So you could be 115 and fight 130.
Yeah. You could also go down. You just have to make the weight.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. You have to fit within that range. So the only way that you could be not in the right weight class is if you're fighting up.
If you're fighting up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in regards to what I have to eat right now, my next fight is going to be also at 130. So I'm trying to put on weight, which for me is really hard. I've always been a string bean my whole life. My metabolism is super fast. But also I'm working out so much that I'm burning off a lot of calories as well.
Peanut butter. Do you like peanut butter?
I go through like phases with peanut butter. Me and peanut butter is a love-hate. Sometimes I hate it. Sometimes I love it.
I love it all the time. All the time I love it.
I'm not a fan. I'm a texture eater, and it's a problem too.
Okay. So you're a little bit of a picky eater then?
Only with texture.
Okay.
Thanks. Not for taste. So right now I try to eat as clean as possible. I try to make sure I eat a half pound at least, some days up to a pound, depending on what I'm doing, of meat.
Okay.
I do more high carb because it just works well for me. My body loves high carb, so I keep it high carb. Lots of water. I try to get half gallon a day at least.
That's it? Just a half gallon?
I should probably get more than that, but that's my...
I tell a non-athletic female to do a half gallon.
I know. I'm working on it. I try to get about a half gallon. And then calorie wise, ideally, if I can get anywhere between like 27 and 3,000 calories, I'm perfect.
Oh, wow.
2,700 and 3,000 calories. That's my goal.
If I do like over 3,000 and I don't work out that day, I'm losing that battle. I'm
lost.
Gaining weight.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to gain. So every second I'll be at the gym. Everybody's like, why are you eating? Right?
You are always eating.
I'm always eating.
You remind me of, you ever seen Ocean's 11?
Food in the car. I was like, man, I can't bring this in. We're about to do a podcast.
You totally could have. You can sit here and eat and talk. I don't care.
Everybody's going to hear me chew and they're going to be so mad.
I mean, who cares? We understand. You got to do what you got to do.
Gotta eat.
So, you ever seen Ocean's 11?
I actually have not.
Okay. There's Brad Pitt is literally every scene. I think almost every scene in the movie he's eating something. He's like, that was his like.
Yes, that's me.
And that reminds me of
all the other fighters are at the gym like cutting weight. Like, oh yeah, I've been in the sauna for so long. I'm over here just eating. Sounds terrible.
How much? Do you know how much protein you're trying to get in a day?
As much as I can.
Literally. So are you literally
as much
eating
as
much food as you can every day?
I just eat all the time. That's it.
Well, and the problem is when you're eating extremely healthy and clean, like it's like you can't get enough.
You literally can't get enough
food in.
You literally can't get enough. And then you're working out and you're burning all that you just ate.
But then you go eat junk food and you feel like shit.
Yeah.
And then
I do pretty well. I do pretty well on the diet. Like we go to the store, we get raw products and make our food. We're not fast fooding it. but maybe like once every other week. So it's
me.
Clean stuff, but it's hard work too, because like you gotta cook and then you gotta clean and then you got 2 kids pulling at you. So it's such a balance for me. Like I try to get everything. I try to hit a little bit of everything, and I'm good.
All right, so trying to find that perfect balance between family, gym, boxing, food, like. Is it a constant battle? Like, 100%. What do you do? Do you feel like, 1, do you need to be in a routine to make that happen? And 2, if you do, getting out of that routine, does that just like fuck you up for like a whole week?
Yeah, like, yes and no. Like, we've got things pretty much down to a pretty good routine, but it's funny because it's not a routine that's like a daily routine. Every day's routine is different, but we got each day's routine down. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, I get that.
Especially doing what we do, we mostly work for ourselves, so we get to make our own schedules.
And you know what you have to get done each day, right?
Exactly.
So the routine may change, but the same list of things
that
have to be checked off every day.
Do, yes, 100%. Me personally, like especially becoming a fighter, like as hard as it can be, I've learned to just roll with the punches when it comes to everything. Literally, pun intended. Just go with it. Like that's what I've learned. If the routine goes to shit, it goes to shit, and we have to deal with it and just keep going. That's what I try to do when it comes to like getting off routine. But we work pretty well as a pair, so we get shit done.
Well, and from what I've gathered, you also have this community around you, right? So there's so many people like myself, but I'm nowhere near as involved as some of the people I see, right? That are just like, they seem to be so helpful. Like when you come over to box, I see your friends helping watch the kids and keeping them entertained. And actually the place that you box at is like the perfect place because it's like a kid's play. It's literally a kid's playground.
Literally kid heaven.
It is. So like the kids can run around and be pretty safe.
Yeah.
And there's always eyes on them. Like if I'm not watching them, like there was a guy yesterday when they came to the sparring match.
Yeah.
And I'd set my camera up and the taller African American guy,
Corey, skinny, kind of bald, had a grill.
Yeah, probably.
Corey,
yeah. He had his girl with him.
Yep.
And I think it was his Echo like got close to my camera, right? And he like stood up. I was like, why is this guy walking towards my camera? And then his like he said something to his girl like, that kid almost knocked the camera over or something. I was like, oh man, that's such a nice guy.
Yeah,
but you were focused. You and BJ were focused on helping Brennan get ready for his sparring.
Yeah.
And it's like all these people are just like. So they're there to help you out. Like they're like,
and I think it's cool because and BJ's greater at this than I, but like we really do put out there for people, as well.
Oh, 100%.
So it's really cool to get that back because we work so hard with maintaining our image and who we are and how we treat people, and it comes back. Oh. And those are the biggest ways it comes back. And it's so amazing. Like we wouldn't be able to do what we do without our support system, and everyone supports us in different ways, but it's amazing.
You really, I mean, I wouldn't be in the position I am at the gym right now if it hadn't been for BJ, right?
Yeah.
If we hadn't like come up with a plan and like done this, and he put me in the position to start teaching these classes, and I right now would not be teaching those classes if it had not been for BJ putting me in that position.
Yeah.
And then, and really, I mean, because you guys are so busy, he kind of like had to walk away from the money that we could be making with these classes because there were just more important things. But he was just so humble. He's like, yeah, just like go do your thing. Like, I know I helped you put in this position. I don't care. Go make your money. Like, and I just like, I really appreciated that. That was like so nice of him,
And that's cool. It's like,
he wasn't like a greedy hand. Like I need a piece of that because I put you here. He's just like, I want to see you succeed. I've got a million other things on my plate. Like I'm here. And on top of that, he's like, I'm here for you if you need anything.
We 100% believe in like a tribe mentality.
100%. Yeah.
You have to have your people. And once you find those people, hold on to them. treat them well. They'll treat you well. They'll take care of you, take care of each other.
Now, have you guys gone through years of like where you've had people in your tribe or your group that you've had to like cut out because they were negative? Because you're going to run into that. Like that's something that I've learned to change a lot in my 30s. Like the people I was hanging out with.
Like, and you know what's interesting? Like, we haven't had a huge problem with that. Like, we roll at such a high frequency. I feel like the people who aren't on that level just kind of phase out on their own.
So if they can't roll with you.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to bring the bad vibes to the party, right? You know? They just kind of cut off on their own, and over the years, like, and BJ says this a lot in class, like especially in class when we're all sweaty and just worked out for 2 hours and got our butts kicked. He always says, like, look around the room, like who's here is not going to be here in a year. Like shit happens. People are going to move away. People are going to have stuff come up. People are going to change focus. But who's going to stick with you is who's going to stick with you and keep your people close. So we just kind of roll with that as well, but always make sure we are supporting our people. So they help us out.
Well, I mean, it goes both ways, right? So if you're supporting 100%. Them, they're going to support you. And I think also when people see the kind of positive energy and what you're doing out there, they want a piece of that too. They want to be part of that, right? Yeah. I mean, I want to be part of it. That's why I got you on this podcast, because I just will be more involved. I want to do what I can.
Yeah.
With with whatever opportunities I have going through me to help you guys out, because I want to see you guys succeed. Well, right? I'm trying to ride your guys' coattails. So you know,
come on, we're gonna make a lot of money off this podcast one day.
So going back to food, do you? Yeah. So break down a day of eating for me, like for all the female wannabe boxers out there.
This probably won't work for everyone because
your metabolism is insane.
Fast.
So if you start to get fat trying this out, scale it back.
Take everything I say with a grain of salt. So I like to do intermittent fasting a little bit.
Really?
It works best for me. I don't really get very hungry in the morning. I typically skip what most people call breakfast. So I will start eating around like 1 o'clock. And then once I start eating, I literally don't stop. I typically like to start with my post workout. So I'll do a little bit of fasted, like cardio, just low intense, like good shakeout, get a sweat going, maybe some yoga. And then I like to eat my post workout, which is like Greek yogurt with some granola, dark chocolate, berries, like something kind of light, but that's going to fill like the carb that I just burned from my workout. After that, I move on to lunch. I like to keep lunch big because like I'm doing that window. I got to get my calories in. So I usually do like a pasta with a half pound of meat because I'll be working out.
So are you like stuffed when you're done with that? Like, are you just like, ugh?
Hey, you know what's crazy? Like at first, yes, but because I've been eating so much, like my stomach has kind of adjusted.
Right. So it doesn't last
long. Give me like 30 minutes after I eat that, I'm ready to eat something else. Okay. So I pretty much, unless I'm working out, I'll probably eat it like every 45 minutes. I'll be eating something.
Wow. So do you pack food then? Because I know you'll be at the gym sometimes, like the whole day.
No, I always be packing food. Even when I just go to practice, I've got like beef jerky in my bag. I'm like working out.
This is good to know. So when I'm hungry and you're around me, I'm like, hey, I know you got food. Hook a brother up.
Well, let me know beforehand so I pack enough. Usually pack the perfect amount. So yeah. Dinner, I also like to do as much as I can. Unfortunately, people are probably going to be mad at me for this, but I eat really late.
I was going to ask, like, how late do you eat? Not
necessarily ideal, but like, I don't get done with my team practice until about 8 o'clock. So by the time I get home, get my kids in bed, actually make my meal, I'm probably eating at like 10:30, 11, my last meal for the day.
Is that pretty heavy meal or pretty big meal as well?
It's pretty heavy, yeah. It's usually like half-pound chicken, and then I try to get veggies in. I don't eat as much as I should.
None of us do, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't
mind them, but they're just like, it's like an extra step of work.
It's literally like, oh, man.
That's why I do a lot of baby.
Like I love vegetables. I
get baby spinach. I eat a ton of baby spinach. So I just get a thing of baby spinach and I just put it on everything.
Really?
Yeah, because it's already like, I don't have to cook it. I don't have to do anything. I like the taste of spinach. I mean, at one point in time when I was like trying to make sure I got my vegetables in every day, I would literally just have a Tupperware of baby spinach with me wherever I went. And I would just take handfuls of it and eat it. Yep. Throughout the day. Yeah. So that I made sure I got my vegetable count in that, kale.
Strong man.
Anything that I could just, because I didn't want to cook it. I just wanted something that I could just have. And honestly, from my understanding, when I went through nutrition class, is like cooking vegetables.
It takes the nutrients out of it.
So not all of it, but I'm sure enough of it that like I'd be getting more by
probably
eating
just
raw,
have to eat double of what you made to
that,
get
or
the
I'll
same.
do like baby carrots. They're kind of high in sugar. If you look at them, a lot of them have like, I don't know how there's sugar in packages of baby carrots, but there is.
Interesting. That's another thing I do stay away from though. I try to, is sugar.
How often do you have sugar? Like I know there's going to be sugar in like some of your food.
Like fruits and some foods that you're going to eat, but like
just straight sugar, like candy bars and stuff.
Go have some candy a couple times a week.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I'm around Brendan. And then he's always got.
Oh my gosh!
I walk in the gym, he's eating ice cream, or like,
how does he look like he looks?
Chocolate.
Okay, yeah. So we went on a little 3-day vacation with Brendan and a couple other guys down to the Red River Gorge. I don't know if you knew about this.
Yeah, but I heard a couple stories.
And so we get lost, and it takes us like 8 hours to get, like, we hadn't eaten all day. So it was like, we were going to go get breakfast after this hiking trip, and we got lost on the trip. And like, so like from 8 o'clock in the morning to like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, right? We ran out of water. It was horrible. We hiked, I think, around 20 miles. Like my feet feel like they're going to fall off. So we went and got Mexican food after. Like we tore that Mexican. Oh, it was so good. So then we're like, let's go get some sugar. So there is a little shop with fudge, right?
Oh,
so,
no.
so Brennan decides he wants to try every
fudge.
Yeah, like he samples it, like the other.
He just
yeah, the other guy, me and this other guy, and we're just like, come on, man, like we want a sample too. And like Brennan's like, can I get this sample? Can I get this sample? So then
Did he buy anything?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
No, he bought like 3 things. Like I think you got 4 or 6 pieces of fudge, and it was like if you bought 12 pieces of fudge or something, it was like a cheaper deal, or like 16 pieces of fudge. And these were like decent sized pieces of fudge, right? And so he orders he orders whatever the deal was, right? And he just starts tearing into it. And then he disappears. Like we can't find him. So like I get my fudge, the other 2 guys, they get their fudge. And so we're like looking for Brennan, like where's he at? Okay. And then one of the other guys is like, I think he went down there to this way. So it was like 4 or 5 like shops down. So, and they had parking down there. So I jumped in my car to flip around and see if he's there. So there he is. He's in line. I'm like, what is he in line for? And so then he gets what he was getting in line, turns around, and it's this massive milkshake. I mean, huge, like 40 ounces. Okay.
That's right.
And he's got it all over his beard, and he gets in the car. And I'm like, where's your, each thing of fudge came in a box. So like, I don't know if we had like 4 boxes or 3 boxes. I can't remember. And so they I had my box, and I looked over. I'm like, Brennan, like you're missing 2 boxes. Where are your boxes? He said, oh, I ate that fudge. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how did you just eat like 3,000 calories of fudge, literally, and now you're having like another 2,000 calories?
How many grams of sugar was that?
Like so many I can't count. Like we're talking like hundreds of grams.
All in like 20 minutes.
20 minutes probably. Yeah. I mean, it was just like insane.
He's buzzing after that.
He's always buzzing. So you can only imagine. And he doesn't crash. At least he doesn't show the crash. And the dude has like washboard abs, like an 8-pack, yeah. Like what everybody wants. And I mean, granted,
I understand, because I'm the same way. I'll eat a whole bunch of pizza.
But I will,
eat shitty and have 8-pack.
But he trains like,
oh yeah,
he trains like a crazy man.
He trains like an animal.
Like he runs like 40, 50 miles a week and trains every day. So, I mean, his metabolism, and I do agree that like, if you can get your body to where you want it, like where I'm at now.
Yeah, when you're at a certain point, you're not going to lose it in a week. You could take a week off and you're still going to be
exactly.
Fine. Yeah.
And, or if you just keep training, like I can, where I'm at now, I can eat as crappy as I want for a very long time, long as I keep training the same way. So.
Sorry, I keep burping.
Well, thanks for letting us know. We appreciate it. So, I mean, how often do you do like pizza? Do you try to have like a meal or two a week where it's just kind of like, I get to enjoy life? Because I know.
I do. Well, here's the other problem. BJ is lactose intolerant. So I don't like just go buy like, okay, sometimes I'll go buy some ice cream, but I don't just go buy that stuff. Like I don't go buy a pizza or I don't go get ice cream because I know I'm going to have to eat the whole thing. My girls will eat a little bit, but they're also sensitive to dairy. So it's not very often that I do that. Just go get a pizza. Now, if it's around, someone's like, yo, you want this pizza? Yeah, I'll eat the whole thing. I'll give me 3 slices. I'll take it. So just a balance. I'm not looking for it, but if it's around, I'll take a slice.
What about alcohol consumption? Do you drink much?
No, actually I don't. On and off with it, it's more occasional with friends, but even now, like I don't drink so much that when I do drink, I instantly, it just doesn't go with my belly.
Oh, really?
No,
so the alcohol
just makes me feel like slow, sluggish. I get a headache. I just stay away from it unless I'm like, doing something special with friends or, having a balance. But I probably drink like once every other week.
Okay. Yeah, it throws me, depending on how much I have, but even a small amount,
it sucks.
The next day, it's not the hangover, but I like get into the gym and I'm like, no, I could do this better last week. Like, why am I struggling
and the hardest
this week?
thing, and the thing for me, I think the big reason why it's not even tempting for me to drink is because I spar Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. So like the time people drink is Friday night, Saturday night.
And you can't.
I can't because I have to go spar or I'm going to get beat up. That's not what I'm trying to do. So I'm not really tempted with it or need it. So
that's good. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I know the same thing. We do the class Sunday morning and actually Saturday night I drank way too much.
Well,
it happens every once in a while. And then I got through the workout, but it was a struggle and I'm just like, this is why I don't do this. This is 100% why I don't do this.
Yeah. It's expensive too.
Yeah, I probably spent like $75 that night. Yeah. And like there's
I could a bellyache.
Yeah. I could have bought
and some laughs,
I could have bought some gym equipment. I could have bought
That's the problem.
I could have bought so many things for $75.
And another thing too is like I can have fun on my own. I can be the life of any party.
Do you have time for fun?
100% sober. Not a lot of time. So I make sure I just slip it in there. Like
what do you like to do? I mean, what are things that between the kids, the training, the coaching, like you don't have like a lot of free time.
I don't. That's why I don't really have a lot of close friends like that. Cause I don't, my free time is usually in the gym. One thing I enjoy doing, I don't get to do it as much anymore because, it's not necessarily the safest thing for me to do right now, but sand volleyball.
Oh,
that's my thing. Oh,
you go play with Mike a lot?
Love it. I used to a lot more. There's a couple summers where I did, but I've been so serious on this boxing thing that I don't want to like.
Yeah, no, you won't even come to my classes because you're afraid you might injure yourself.
I know. I'm scared of your workouts. I just don't want to injure myself. It's really the big thing.
I understand.
And my splits are very specific right now because I am in my fight camp.
Right.
Don't take it personally.
I don't. Not at all.
After I bang up this fight, I might join you once I'm out of camp.
Remember, it's all effort based though. So it's like if you don't want to do something or you want to go slower because you're afraid of injury, like
Let me know when you have your next pull day.
We don't really do a push pull like
you just kind of do it all.
It's a full body. It's 13 exercises broken down. It's all about functional movement. But I mean, so really if we follow the format that I built correctly, it's 3 cardio exercises. It's 2 leg exercises. It's a chest, back, shoulder, and arm exercise.
Okay.
2 body weight exercises, 2 core exercises, 1 dynamic movement, 1 functional movement.
Interesting.
So it's a full body functional movement endurance workout. So it's not CrossFit because I like a lot of what CrossFit offers and I like the intensity of CrossFit and the mindset of CrossFit. However, a lot of CrossFit is extremely unsafe, especially without coaching. And let's just be honest, even with the proper coaching, you'll get so tired trying to do a clean or trying to do an overhead press or trying to do a deadlift, you're still going to have a high chance at injuring yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. And let's just say that's with somebody with with actual experience and know what they're doing. So I take all that bullshit out and I just pull like the mindset and some of the movements out of CrossFit. And then I take stuff like a lot of HIIT workout style stuff. Again, with HIIT, I don't think a lot of the HIIT stuff is intense enough though. So I figure out wherever that balance or medium is in between the two. And then, like I said, we try to throw in like some good cardio things that like help with endurance, like box jumps, those 0.2 mile runs. We always do battle ropes, awesome. High knees, mountain climbers, like again, all very safe movements, but still get your heart rate up and do what they need to do. And again, it's at your own pace. So if you're just like, I'm not feeling it today, you get through as much as you can in an hour at the pace that you feel safe. So say you've got dips and you're like halfway through your dips and you're like, shit, like these are getting to a point where they're getting difficult or like I could injure myself. Yeah. Just pull out a bench and do reverse dips. I mean, just like modify it for yourself. Yeah. You know, we have some girls that could probably pump out the 100 push-ups. But if we do like 100 push-ups, but they'll do maybe half or a third of them like normal push-ups, and then they'll just modify it to their knees because again, they're smart enough to know like, I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to overextend my body. And that's where it's all at. And we support each other on that. And we don't give people, I'll give some people some shit every once in a while, but it's
give them a little bit of shit,
but it's not like I'm really giving them shit. It's more, it's just that's playful
the fun part of our job.
Yes. That's 100%.
That's like the biggest perk.
So we haven't even talked about your coaching. Do you enjoy coaching? Do you like teaching?
I do like teaching. I feel like I've been teaching like my whole life. It's very second nature for me, but I think that like my mom told me I have the gift of gab. So, I have a big mouth.
I would have never guessed.
I'm good at talking to people. So I think that just plays out very well for me in a class setting. I like it. I love it. I love the connections. It connects me to, I've met some very important people, some famous people, over the years of coaching, but, I love it. I like watching and being a part of people's progress and people bettering themselves.
It feels good.
Yeah.
And
it's rewarding.
And that if you're going, I think a lot of coaches have this mindset. It's kind of like, if I'm coaching them, they're doing what I'm telling them to do and they're doing it right, then they have a better chance of like success or whatever, in
all aspects of their life. Yeah.
So you coach you coach a couple different places here in town, right?
Yeah. A couple different places. I'm at Ultimate Ninja with you guys as well. I'm doing some stuff over there, some personal training. And then I'm downtown at Proof Fitness. Have you been to Proof?
Yeah.
I'm down there now. I teach boxing classes. I have at least one class a day. Some days I'll do 2 classes there. But it's all boxing. I have one class that's around my noontime. That's skills training. So like teaching you how to box, the why behind the punch. And then in the evenings, I teach more of like a conditioning. Like I pretty much just kick your ass for 50 minutes of a workout.
I'll go to the how and why then.
What?
I said I'll go to the how and why.
Yeah. Most people start with the how and why, and then they come to the evening class, and I just lay into them.
Do you think that helps translate into making you a better boxer?
100%. And that's what's been really cool about us starting up our own boxing team is like, with anything, when you start teaching it, you learn it better. You want to have the best information you can behind something if you're going to be sharing it. So I think that really elevates your knowledge of it and the way you apply it. I can't say, hey, you're dropping your left when you're throwing your cross, you're dropping your guard a little bit. Right. And then I can't go do that. Like when I tell somebody to not do that, I can't go do it. So it helps also hold you responsible for what you do, in boxing, but also, in your workouts as well.
Yeah. So what do you do workout wise that's non-boxing related just to keep your body in shape, keep the endurance up, Yeah.
It depends on the day. So I try to do 2 strength days, depending on how my body's feeling. 'Cause as you know, like when we do strength workouts, we're breaking our body down, right? So it can build back stronger. So I sometimes will skip those strength days if I had like tough sparring or I already feel broken down. I'm not going to just go break myself down even more, in hopes to be stronger. So I'll do one at least, sometimes 2 strength workouts.
Are they full body?
I do a push and a pull.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm only going to do one, I'll do the pull, because in boxing, every time you throw a punch, you're pushing.
Right.
So it's push most of the time. So in order to find that balance and to keep those shoulders drawn back so you don't have those injuries, pulling for boxers is super important to really focus on when we do that strength. So that's the strength portion of it. During class, I have 2 team practices a week. I'm doing a lot of HIIT workouts. So that's where most of my cardio comes from.
Okay.
When I do the strength, it's more ballistic training. I'm sure you're familiar.
I don't know a lot about
ballistic training. So basically when I do those strength exercises, I'm pairing, say, a deadlift, something that's for strength, right, with a high intense exercise on the rest. So say I'm doing a deadlift. Well, right after I do that deadlift, I'm going to go do med ball slams. Okay. And I'm repping them out. I'm doing like a high amount. So basically I'm doing all my strength exercises to failure at that point, keeping the heart rate super high. So I'm working that time under tension, high heart rate, but also a high strength output.
It helps build that ATP system.
Yes,
then, so that lactic acid doesn't jump in and beat your ass all of a sudden.
In the ring. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I do for the strength. And then I'll hit that ladder, man. We're on that ladder forever, it seems like, when we do the practice, just doing footwork, just working on that like fast twitch muscle movement. And then of course we're doing like the heavy bags and the typical boxing workouts of lots of jump rope, lots of double end bag, lots of slip rope, lots of heavy bag, and sparring.
Just go.
Try to find some space to add this running in that I'm about to have to
I'm going to get you some information. I'm going to be on you now that I know, and I see you like 3 or 4 times a week. So I'm going to be on you. I'll be on you about it.
Recovery runs. Is this what we're talking about? Recovery runs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about going out and like going full throttle. Like how, like, I think it would be better for you to get to a point where you can run 5 miles comfortably than like 2 or 3 miles as fast as possible.
Right.
You probably do need a couple of those 1 or 2 3-mile runs, maybe no more than 2, 3 max, where you're really pushing yourself. But I think it's good for just like longevity and endurance, right?
Yeah. Those longer fights.
Yeah. I also think you could try to work on do you ever do like if you get on like YouTube, and this is what I started doing years ago, and I've kind of made a couple of my own, but they're like anywhere from 6 to 15 minute like core workouts where it's and you just follow along.
I be killing the core workouts. I was a gymnast, so
okay.
I remember in gymnastics we would literally, for gymnastics workouts, we would set a timer, 8 minutes. We work our way up, obviously. 8-10 minutes of just straight core, nonstop, 8 minutes, just banging it out. So when I do core exercises, I try to do at least 2 sets of 5-minute core workouts, at least twice a week.
Yeah. So those, and the biggest thing is making sure that you're keeping that core engaged, so that when you go running, that you can keep that same mindset. Like, let's keep this core muscle engaged. So yeah, I think you gotta at least get to 5 to 8 miles a week, and then kind of just build up from there. So I think Keenan fell. He's over here trying to. He's like half asleep, half awake. I mean, he's got the. He knows
exactly. Radio voices over here. Are we lulling you to sleep?
He's like half asleep, but still knows what buttons to push as he hears. Oh, that's David. So let me switch camera real quick. Oh, that's Bekah.
Yeah. You guys are good.
You're cracking me up over here, man. Well, I mean, I feel like that we kind of like hit that point in the podcast. So this is your chance to like put any information out that you want people to like follow you.
Yeah.
Like Instagrams, like
I'm
like
kind of hard to
like,
find on social media right now.
We'll pop it up on the screen for everybody. So we're gonna make of course.
Okay,
you say it, and then when we edit it, we put it up there for you.
Perfect.
Blah.
Will it show up?
Yeah. But you got to say
Follow
it.
me on Instagram. It's Bekah_Robinson. Bekah spelled with a K, not 2 C's. I'm looking for sponsors right now for my next upcoming matches that I'm going to finish out with USA Boxing. The better I do with sponsorships, the more matches I'll be able to take, the further I'll be able to travel. So I'm going to be sending out some sponsorship packages. So if you know anybody or anybody interested in marketing for their business, their company, hit me up.
Hit her up. Hit me up. I'll send it to her.
Yeah.
Like anything. Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Instagram is probably the thing I'm most on right now. Also have a TikTok, just for fun.
I have not seen the TikTok.
You should check it out. It's just for fun. I don't really have any followers, but it's fun. It's boxing content.
Okay.
My kids are on there a little bit.
You doing any kind of like teaching stuff on there? Like any like do this, practice this?
Believe it or not, I don't dedicate a lot of time to it.
Right. I mean, you've got a million other things you're doing.
I have so many things to do that it's a literal like, oh, I have a random 10 minutes. Let's see what content I have on my phone here to make a TikTok.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really it. That's me. Come check me out. October 15th in Bowling Green.
Yeah.
So if you want to come watch,
we'll try to get something up on the story a couple days out once you guys have some content for it.
I have a poster that I'm going to be posting.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my opponent to confirm.
Yeah. Opponent. Who's your opponent?
Hannah something. What's her name?
You don't even know her
Hannah
name?
Dab.
She's already in the rearview mirror in your mind?
Yeah, pretty much.
You've already moved on.
Well, if she accepts the fight, looking like she's gonna watch this podcast or something. No, yeah, I really but I'm staying ready anyways, so whoever you want. My next one after the 15th will be the 22nd, the next weekend. Hoping to find a match for that. And then I'm going to be moving on. I think there might be a show in Louisville coming up that I'm going to try to hop on too.
Okay. Well, anytime you're fighting, let us know. We'll do our best to like put it out there for you because I'm all about you making that success. You getting there, moving up.
We're getting there. There's only one way to go, and that's up.
I want to like look back and be like, we had like the number one female boxer in the world on the podcast before anybody else.
Before I knew, you knew me before anybody else. There we go.
But like, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. This was so much fun.
No, it was. It was perfect.
And once you win a couple more fights, maybe we'll have you back on and do some more talking.
We'll have BJ come check you out, and then
we gotta
have to get us both together.
Yeah, we gotta get both. When's his? Does he have a fight coming up at all?
So he was supposed to have a fight this weekend in Charleston. This weekend coming up, but both of the opponents backed out. They didn't want the smoke. I'll go out and say it right now. They didn't want the smoke.
I wouldn't want the smoke. I've seen him.
So they both dropped out.
He's legit.
Scary.
Like
he's scary. Nobody wants to fight him right now. But hey, it'll happen. Y'all see him soon. So
but that would be kind of fun to have the both of you on.
Yeah, but he's staying in shape, so he's ready to take some calls.
We both
are. Pretty much, we're both just staying in shape, waiting for the big calls. So
I got that. All right,
ready to go.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, and I'm sure we'll have you on here soon.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for stopping in, and as always, we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.